With Craig Button. Craig, before the tournament started, it was nearly unanimous. Goaltending could be Canada's downfall, but in the end, goaltending, specifically that of Jordan Binnington, helped save the day. Craig, the Olympics go a year from now in Italy. When Canada names its team, is Jordan Binnington a lock for the #1 job going in?
Absolutely, he's a lock. There's no question about it. And John Cooper, who, by the way, is going to be the coach in Italy, at the beginning of this tournament, he said, we're going to pick a guy, and unless something drastically changes, that's the guy we're going to go with. So when he selected Jordan Binnington to be his starting goaltender, he instilled confidence into Jordan Binnington. And it's easy to have confidence in a player when things are going well. But when John Cooper said, you're my guy, that really sent a message to Jordan Binnington. And then Jordan Binnington delivered. So that confidence for John Cooper now is only that much greater heading into Italy. And why wouldn't it be that much greater? Because Jordan Binnington showed that when called upon, when asked to step up and perform at the highest level in critical times, he did it superbly.
Craig, there's going to be one major difference when we're at the Olympics in Italy next February, and that's no fighting. So we're not going to see a start like we saw in the preliminary round game between Canada and Team USA. Another question for you. Who are the key guys that were on Canada's Four Nations Championship team this time that could find themselves bumped off the roster for next year's Olympics?
So when you ask me the question, key players that were on this team that may not be there in the Olympics, that would be nobody. Because the key players still remain the key players, whether it be Makar and Taves as a pair, whether it be McKinnon and McDavid and Crosby or Braden Point, they're their key players. Sam Reinhart. So there's no changeover in the key players. In the marquee players, I'll go one step further, in the superstars. There's going to be some change in the lineup. There has to be some change in the lineup. One of the things that I looked at when watching this matchup ahead of time was the USA has some real size and bulk on the back end. Sweden has some really good, strong, sturdy defenders. So I think that, if anything, Canada has to look at adding a little bit more weight on the wings, adding a little bit more ability to handle the grind on the corners, on the boards, on the wall. I think that's where you might see some changes. But in terms of key players, everybody's returned. And that includes Drew Doughty. And that includes Alex Pietrangelo, who said he couldn't play in the tournament because of injuries. That includes those two guys. So to me, none of the key players are going to be absent from Italy in 2026.
All right, Crosby had the golden goal in 2010. McDavid was the hero last night. Was that a passing of the torch moment? Could we see McDavid take over the captaincy for the Olympics, or does Sid still get the C next February?
Oh, Sidney Crosby's the captain as long as he wants to be the captain. And there's no way that you're going to have Sidney Crosby not be the captain. Every single player talks about Sidney Crosby, the calm, the composure, the compete. You know, I go back to that game against Finland when he delivers the big body check on Granlund when Finland is trying to get that fourth goal to tie it up. Yeah, the puck kicks back to him and he gets the empty net goal. But it's those types of plays. It's his demeanor. It's the way he is. And I will guarantee you this, Gino, there's not one player that could potentially play for Canada that's going to want the captaincy over Sidney Crosby, and that includes Connor McDavid. The torch will eventually be passed when Sidney Crosby is no longer able to play for Team Canada, not 1 second before.
All right, as Canada paraded the trophy around the ice, it marked 350 days until the start of the Olympic tournament. And according to the early line, Canada's the favorite going in, but just barely better odds than Team USA.